Welcome to another edition of Raya's Power International. Well, I just finished a 50-set arm workout. I'm 61 years old in 2019, and today I want to talk about how to avoid problems when you're working out in extreme heat. We're expecting a very hot summer once again in 2019. I want to talk about how your body responds, how the various organs are affected, and some of the things that you can do to avoid problems.
Training in extreme heat can be very uncomfortable, yet most gym members shrug off the potential dangers. But as our summers become hotter and hotter and stretch over longer periods of time, it's now wise to be aware of how the body's organs respond to training in extreme heat and what can be done to avoid the negative effects. Now let's start with the brain. The brain's hypothalamus, located in the forebrain, coordinates the autonomic nervous system and body temperature, among other things. Now, it's sensitive to changes in core temperature. If one's core temperature rises 1 degree, the hypothalamus reacts by dilating blood vessels near the skin where the blood can cool. Now, if one's core temperature continues to rise, the blood entering the brain will likewise continue to rise in temperature. Now, at this point, neuromuscular fatigue increases. Muscles won't contract with as much force as usual. If the core temperature rises further, the brain may overheat and the central nervous system may malfunction. Symptoms may include dizziness, confusion, and agitation. Most people don't consider the skin an organ, but today medical science definitely considers the skin an organ. Now, once the blood reaches the skin, the pores will expand and sweating occurs. Now, if the air temperature is cooler than one's core temperature, the sweat will evaporate and the blood will cool. However, if the air temperature is warmer than one's core temperature, the sweat will not evaporate. Sweating will continue. Dehydration then becomes a danger at this point. Of course, the danger with dehydration is actually the loss of electrolytes that are critical to the functioning of the heart, the brain, and the nervous system. Now the heart, since the brain has directed more blood to the skin for cooling, there's less blood available to the heart. To maintain output, the heart rate increases. What's more, the elevated blood temperature also increases the heart rate. Muscular performance then decreases. Now let's talk about the stomach. Blood flow to the stomach is reduced for the same reason less blood is available to the heart. Digestion becomes harder and nausea may result. Now, the muscles. Since the stomach isn't functioning well at this point, it becomes difficult for the muscles to receive the nutrition that they need. The muscles will rely on anaerobic metabolism rather than aerobic metabolism. But anaerobic metabolism requires more carbohydrates. Now the body is at the risk of running out of fuel. Without proper fuel, the muscles experience greater damage and the trainee will experience more soreness the following day. So how do we avoid overheating on hot days when we're trying to bodybuild, power lift, Olympic lift? Well, there are a number of methods that are very simple actually. The first one is train in an air-conditioned facility on a hot day. Number 2, dress to stay cool. Now sweatsuits are for cool days. They're not for hot days. Stay hydrated. And I'm going to separate hydration from consume beverages that contain electrolytes. Anybody can drink water, but water's not enough. You've got to have a special beverage that contains electrolytes. Why is that? Electrolytes, when dissolved in solution, conduct electricity. Electricity is used by the nervous system to send signals throughout the body and brain, making it possible for us to think, move, and feel. There are 7 electrolytes. Let's take a look at those electrolytes. Now, people tend to blow off electrolytes as not being that important, but as you train over the years and get more and more experience, and do more and more research, the more experience you have with medical doctors, taking drugs and so forth, you begin to get the idea, you begin to see the light that the body is very, very sensitive to whatever you put in it, or when it's not getting what it needs. Now let's take a look at the very first of the electrolytes, which is sodium. Now sodium is the major positively charged ion outside the cells. It creates one half of the electrical pump that keeps the electrolytes inside and outside the cells in balance. Now, the second most important electrolyte is potassium. Now, potassium is the other half of the electrical pump that keeps the electrolytes inside and outside the cells in balance. Now, calcium. Calcium actually is an electrolyte. It's critical for the transmission of nerve impulses and muscle contraction. Magnesium. Yes, magnesium is considered an electrolyte. Now, it's necessary for over 300 biochemical reactions in the body. Chloride. Chloride is the major negatively charged ion outside the cells. It helps keep the fluid inside and outside the cells in balance. Bicarbonate. Bicarbonate combats acidity in the body. Phosphate or phosphorus is essential for energy production within cells and tissue growth and repair. Now, I have personally witnessed powerlifters pass out from heat stroke during competitions because they purposely dropped water weight in order to qualify for a specific weight class. In one instance, a lifter used Lasix to shed water very quickly. Well, it worked, but on the way to the venue, he became unresponsive and was transported to the hospital. He nearly died. So don't think just because you're young that you're indestructible. You still have a human body that is stressed by extreme heat, especially when you're training very, very hard or you're in competition.